Hello and welcome to a new series. This is Tal Valoren, a Dwarven citadel built into an extinct volcano. And this here is the grand entrance into the mountain. Now, I am kind of treating this as more of a exterior style. I'm not sure if you are familiar with games like Warhammer, Total Warhammer, should I say, and or Skyrim. I'm sure most of you are probably aware with those references. But the style for this Dwarven citadel is derived from the dwarves of both the Skyrim, aka Elder Scrolls universe, and the Warhammer universe. So I really liked the idea of using the bronze or I guess copper accents, which really brings out the bland gray. And obviously it is a lot of stone. It is extremely stout, for lack of better words. And the idea is that it is a tiered city leading up to a central caldera. In the middle will be a geyser field, and that is what's going to be the main water source for the city. So something that I've really been struggling with in these past years is the whole editing concept when it comes to making these videos. I am not a fan of that style, and I am going to try to be very light on the editing when it comes to this series. Now, this is my current plan. If that changes, we will see as time progresses. But ultimately, as of right now, my plan is to be very light on the editing when it comes to this project. Now, clearly you can tell I'm pretty far on this project already as is. My plan was not to actually make a series on this, but I don't know. Today I was just thinking, I might as well make a lightly edited series of this project and see where it goes. And I'm just curious to see if you guys would be interested in something like this. I know a lot of videos and series these days are highly edited, and there's a lot to them, whereas being a married man with 2 children, a full-time job, etc., the editing process is just not for me. Not to mention just the crazy amount of rendering that you need to go through and waiting for things to work and all of the replays that need to be worked through, the cinematics, etc. All of that just becomes a massive mess, and I'm just not willing to put in the time for that. Now, this series will most likely be releasing once, hopefully, my goal is once every 2 weeks, more if I'm feeling it. But I do like the idea of sharing this project with you guys and hopefully making this into something that kind of revives the channel somewhat. That is the intent. I really do miss making videos. I miss this community. I miss being able to produce content on a more regular basis. This has always been kind of where my heart is. I enjoy this a lot. I like creating things. And of course, the Conquest community is a huge deal for me. So I want to try, again, to try to get back into it and see if I can actually create something that you guys would like to watch. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people that will comment and say, well, I want something more edited or better quality, etc. All of this, of course, I can understand completely. Except I just don't know I can do that. It's just not within my capabilities at this point. Next episode, I will try to have the Distant Horizons mod installed so you guys can see this in a better view. But as of right now, this is the best I can do, as the server I am on only allows a very low render distance due to server capabilities. But what I want to do is kind of start from the beginning of where the kind of the start of the causeway is going, looping all the way around. I just want to show you guys what exactly is going on in my head. So first of all, I want to show you kind of the style for the residential buildings within the Citadel. This here is one of the houses. I have it out here right now as it's not fitting inside at this point, but this gives you an idea as to what I plan on doing for the exterior facades of the structures. All of this is going to be revised. I'm going to keep it up to this point, but everything from that point on to this tower, etc., will be revised in the future episodes. Or future episodes, should I say. I'm not sure how soon I'm going to get to it. But the plan is that there's going to be a grand gate coming in to start the causeway, and then it's going to lead over to here, which is going to be one of the bastions, of which I have one kind of completed on the other side, and we will see that soon enough. It will continue up this way, and we have an example of one of the corner towers. I have 6 of these total around the Citadel, and they sort of provide a 3-tier defensive structure. Now, I kind of like the idea of possibly using some kind of siege equipment on these towers, but I just don't see any possibility of me doing that except if I removed this dome on the top, which I really don't want to do. So I'll show you later on. I do have plans for siege equipment up on the Citadel itself, so we will get to that. Continuing on, it leads to this structure here, which is kind of like a gate complex, except it's kind of weirdly shaped. You might be asking why there's these large sort of arched openings here on the side. There's going to be more work done here. I'm going to be making sort of a reservoir here in future episodes. But to kind of explain this, there is going to be large openings here that are going to go kind of straight up, and there's going to be giant cauldrons that can be filled with some sort of like burning oil or something. And so if the enemy gets to this point, they would just flow that stuff down through here, and it would just absolutely light this place up on fire. And then of course there's going to be a large gate right here to kind of close it off. The idea would be to flush the enemy combatants down the hillside here and into oblivion. Continuing on, we have another one of those towers. The wall continues this way, and here's an example of one of the bastions. As you can tell, it looks a little bit larger than the one you guys saw over here. It is the same size, except being built up, it kind of looks a little bit larger. But I do really like how that looks. Obviously, there will be some customizations, and it will change a little bit as we move forward. But I do like how that's looking. So I want to kind of make some kind of partition here of some sort to kind of close this off if necessary or if needed. But I haven't quite gotten that far. I haven't decided how I want to go about doing that yet. So again, in future episodes, we will decide what to do. This is all going to be filled with water here, filled with water there, and pretty much any section in between this wall and the main Citadel itself, there's going to be a reservoir of water. So this here is one of the gate complexes. It's pretty much an entire structure all built around this one gate right here. The massive bronze gate, and it has this, these huge hinges, and then there's going to be a mechanism up here that will be used to open and close it. So, there wouldn't be like handles down here and they would open and close it from down here. The opening and closing mechanism would be gears and stuff up top within the main housing of the gate complex. So continuing around, we got 2 more of those towers, and then we come to our next gate complex, which is a lifting system. So I turned shaders off because it is much easier to see what's going on here. So this here is a drawbridge, which would be lifted straight up, and the counterbalance would be the gate here, which would close flushly on this side, so they couldn't like put a ramp across. And so pretty much there would just be this massive pit here in between the walkways. So getting from this walkway to this walkway would be that would be very difficult. I'm sure the attackers would find a way for sure, as you know, if they've gotten this far, they have the desire to get in. But anyways, coming inside, I have a whole system of gears and whatnot that are designed to open the gate, and it's all a distribution system in order so that one person can open and close the entire thing with one small wheel. So coming back outside, we have a continuation of the wall leading to the main gate complex. This right here will house a statue of some sort at some point once I get to it, but I have not quite gotten that far yet. This again will be another reservoir, and the idea is that the outlet of this reservoir will feed into the main gate complex, so that when attackers maybe perhaps get up to this part, this is going to be changed, so don't pay attention to this, but this is just an example. But there will be a chute that leads the dam, or that leads from the reservoir to the main gate opening, so that, you know, they're coming in here to attack the gate, and then they would open a levee here, and the water would just come flowing through and flush whatever is in the causeway out, and clearly would cause quite a bit of chaos if you know what I mean. I guess it's time to kind of explain what this is. So this here is kind of so when I first got to this project, there was an opening in the Caldera right here. So I used this to kind of hold back because I wasn't quite sure what I was getting into yet. But the idea is that this is the waterfall, the outlet from the reservoir that is within the Caldera. There is going to be geysers in here, so there's going to be a continual flow of fresh water from the earth coming up in through those geysers, and then that water that overflows would then flow out here and then down, etc., and do what water does. So now we're back here at the front gate. We got a supposed face of a dwarf here, kind of the stereotypical dwarven style, massive bronze facade face kind of at the front entrance. But the idea behind that is just to create a imposing fear upon whomever may be coming this far. This is the Dwarven Citadel, and thou shalt not pass unless if you're invited. But the ultimate goal behind this area is to be an intimidation factor. So one thing that I've really tried to do is line a lot of things up. So as you'll see, the entrance is lined perfectly up with the main Citadel tower, which will be at the very top here. This is the world height, so the top of the dome of the Citadel will be at the very top of that red block. But you can kind of imagine a massive tower there, and that will be the crown of Tal Valoren. And clearly it's going to follow somewhat the style of these towers here as we see them all around. You got the large bronze dome, a little bit of bronze or copper there along the collar, and yeah, just the stylization continues like that. So then coming inside here, this is all going to be changed. Of course, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on in here. The mountain is absolutely free for the taking. There's going to be large chambers and all kinds of crazy stuff going on in here. Large forges, industry, lower level residences for the lower class. The Caldera itself is reserved for the richer dwarves, those that have money and can afford living in a more luxurious open space. All of the greenery is placement for gardens and trees. There's going to be a lot of greenery in this area, and it's going to kind of break from what you would consider to be a stereotypical dwarven settlement of being all stone. There is going to be a lot of fresh greenery all over the place that's going to make the place look somewhat overgrown. And that is something that I think will really bring this place together and cause it to feel rather unique than just your stereotypical straight up stone everywhere dwarven settlement. But yeah, ultimately there's going to be greenery all over the place, which is going to really add in another accent and cause this place to look so much nicer. So up top here, there's going to be, see, this is where I'm at up here. I kind of like the idea of maybe putting a few more structures up here. My thought process is still in the decision making stage of figuring out how I want to go about making this work up here. But this will probably be a lot of gardens, but I may sneak a structure in here if I can find a good reason for it as we continue. Because again, a lot of the residences and a lot of this, like the main things, are going to be built into the mountain. Also, I will be utilizing the exterior for like windows and whatnot, and which will cause there to be a lot more detail in the overall design than just being just flat walls like this. There's going to be obviously quite a bit more going on. So, but that will come in time. Anywhere that you see these green screen blocks, I have planned to utilize that space for trebuchets. My original idea was to utilize these spikes as some sort of like concentrated laser or like heat death ray that would be generated from some sort of like dynamo core or something. But I don't know, I just feel like that goes a little bit too far along the fantasy spectrum. So I'm thinking more along the lines of that's more decorative, and then I will utilize trebuchets or mangonels, obviously quite a bit fantasized and more dwarven, but pretty much anywhere that you see those green screen blocks is where I have planned. There's going to be a couple here, there, and then of course there. And they will be set as the long-range weaponry to defend the Citadel, because all around the Citadel is a massive plains. Again, I'll try to get the Distant Horizons mod installed next time I do an episode, and then you guys will be able to see just how big this is. In fact, the map is not quite rendered in. I'm on a new version of the mod right now, and the update changed it also. I got to start fresh yet again, but the plains is quite large, and it's just this lone volcano in the middle. So already we have kind of an example of the ancient greenery that will be inside the Citadel itself, and this here is a large ancient oak tree built by Susie, who is a fellow server member. And I think she did an excellent job in making this absolutely beautiful tree. So props to her, and thank you, Susie, for such an excellent tree. So one thing I want your help with, guys, is to figure out who all would live in all of these buildings here. So like, obviously thoughts that I have is like, maybe a judge, maybe the head merchant, maybe like the smithing guild leader, stuff like that. But if you guys have like really interesting dwarven profession or dwarven hierarchical individuals that would live in these houses, these would obviously be the richer class. So if you guys have ideas for what exactly and who exactly would live in these buildings, or what these buildings would be utilized for, let me know, and then perhaps I can use your comments to set these to be very unique and interesting structures because, I feel like if I just think everything up, it'll end up being kind of boring. And I think it's also very important to pre-plan what's going to be what in order to ensure that the finished product is organized and how it should be. So future plans, I do plan on obviously adding quite a bit more on the surrounding foothills. Obviously, Tal Valoren will need a food source, and so if I ever get anywhere near finished the Citadel itself, I would like to work on like Dwarven style farms and Dwarven style, like little offshoots, a few buildings, little hamlets and stuff around. Obviously, there's a lot of space and a lot to do, but being the single builder that I am, there's only so much that I am capable of doing at a time, so I have to work within my constrictions, and for now, I'm just going to continue working on the Citadel itself. So you guys will notice that there's all these like stairs and stuff, and I try to maintain a relatively consistent width to the roads all the way up and around. I just feel like wide roads are very important and ultimately will lead to a better end product. I don't really want this project to be really skinny, small, like medieval style mudge pudge roads and whatnot. I want it to be rather wide and very roomy. And so, this is an example of a road inside the structures itself, but the open roads would be quite a bit wider. So one other thing to mention is these are going to be openings into the mountains. So back in here, there's going to be industry or housing. Who knows? I haven't really decided that far yet. There's going to be like openings down here as well to get in. And then there's another large opening right here, which is another way to get into the mountain. There we go. Now you guys can see a little bit better, but that is accessed when you come in from the main entrance there. It'll lead out to here. You go down this little chute of the road, and then that would lead into the mountain as well. So ultimately, there is a lot of space to work with, and I'm excited to kind of like figure out the anthill design of all of the chambers and whatnot that will be down here. But as of right now, my main focus is on the exterior and trying to get this at least situated for viewing pleasure. Obviously, that is my priority. But yeah, little by little, we're chipping away at this, and I'm excited to continue this project. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. I do try to get at least one stream a week in with this project. I already got a few in the history books already. Obviously, I've been building this over on Twitch, so if you guys are interested in live building, you are always welcome to come over to Twitch. Generally, I will stream on the weekends, Saturdays or Sundays, and I'll be able to see you guys live there. But if you guys are not able to make it, there's always the video on demand, which is available on my past broadcast playlist here on YouTube, which you guys can find on my main channel page, 3 playlists down, or I might be 2. But anyways, it's all there, and you guys can watch those if there's any particular bit that you're interested in seeing. So anyways, that is that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that there is some liking for what I'm doing here. Which clearly, there is very little editing, very little. Obviously, there's no building this episode. This is more like an introduction, getting you guys in the loop to know what's going on. So that being said, hope you all have a great day, have a great night, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Till then, bye-bye.